In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build your own AI SaaS and monetize it using Lovable. Everybody can do it. It's super simple. You don't need to know how to write a single line of code, and I'm going to show you exactly how I am doing it. I'm going to walk you through the entire process. So let's build your first AI SaaS web application. So for this application today, we're going to build a text to music generator using the Suno API. Now, first of all, you may ask yourself, what the heck is an API? Now, an API is actually very cool. Now, what it essentially is it's a service most of the times, and now in 2025, most of the times it's an AI service. And we can plug into that AI service by using an API, by running a little bit of code that communicates to their server. So we don't have to train our own AI models. We can just call their server, have it be done, and then get the result back to our server so we can white label other people's technology and build that into our application, build that into our SaaS. So for this, we're going to use the Suno API that is available on the KIE marketplace. Now, inside of here, we have all the documentation, we got all the stuff, all the technical stuff written out inside of here, and we'll be able to then have that plug in into Lovable. Now, before we do any of that, we need to get the foundation set up. So we want to build a good application here that lets the user log in, is very user-friendly, has login with Google for higher conversion rates, and we probably already want to start plugging in with Polder for our subscriptions, for monetizing this whole thing. So let's start with the first prompt here. So first I'm going to say, build a login/sign up page plus gated user page. Okay. And then if user logged in and is on /auth page, go to /page, which is the page for logged in users. Okay, this is great because this is kind of like the basic login flow. Now we have a gated page that is only for people who have an account, and we have a page where people can create an account. Now, here's the thing that's very important when you're trying to get users and you don't want to confuse them. Make sure the login/sign up form are in one form, and if the email is new, just create a new account. No separate forms, because we don't want it to create separate forms where they just log in and then, no, I want to sign up and now I got to switch to login. And lots of applications have terrible user experiences. We want to have a good one because we want people to sign up and pay for our stuff. So that's it. And, then we can say, make it look minimal and modern, tech, SaaS style. Okay. And now here's what I usually like to do, because I don't want it to look like everything made AI. So there is a cool website that we can use. So if you go to tweakcn.com, you'll be able to set up your own custom theme. And that's maybe a little bit too pink for today. So let's change that. Now that's too default. That's too crazy. I kind of like that, but not my style for this application. I want something, yes, that's nice. It's blue. It feels AI robotic. I like that. So in this example, we got light mode, dark mode. Very nice. Let's do dark mode here, right? And let's just export this. So we're going to go on code here, and we can now copy this code, and I'm going to put this in my Lovable prompt. And then I'm also going to go back here to tweakcn, and I'm going to copy this npm installation for our custom theme. This is optional, but it's very nice. And then I also want to tell it, set up Lovable Cloud for the backend. There you go. And now it's going to set up the entire application. We don't need to have an engineer. We don't need to have a developer. We don't need to know anything about programming. Lovable is going to set this all up for us. Now, there are a couple of things that we need to look into, so let's start planning for that. So first of all, we probably want to have some sort of credit monetization system going on. So actually, before we're implementing the AI functionalities, which are the most exciting part of the application, we actually want to make sure that the basics are set up. In this example, payments, because that's how we monetize, right? That's quite important. So inside of Polar, I'm in a sandbox account, so I can test without showing you my credit card number. But we want to go to, like to settings here. Actually, it's up here now. And under settings, we want to go to the security keys, the secret keys, the tokens. So if we go to settings, general, we go to developers, we add a new token, and I'm going to call this Lovable Cloud. I'm going to set no expiration, and I'm just going to, maybe that's too critical. Maybe we only need to have a couple of them. I think we just need to do checkout create, right? So let's double check on this. Checkout create. Where the heck is checkout here? Let's just look for checkout. Okay. Checkout, links, checkout. It would be checkout write, checkout read. And then let's do this for the checkout. And then we'll figure out if there's some permissions that we need to set as well. But let's create this. There you go. Now we have our key. Now, we need to make sure that we start this in a safe place, because once we have it copied, we can't, we can't see it again. Now, in the meantime, while I talked about this, as you can see, our custom theme is already beautifully set up inside of Lovable. So our application, our SaaS, doesn't look like everything out there on the internet that was white coded. It actually has some decency. So as you can see, we also want to set up login with Google, because that is the best way to have the highest conversions. So before we're going to go to the next part here, I just want to say set up login with Google. And I'm not going to do any fancy stuff with that. I'm just going to tell Lovable set up login with Google. I'm going to go now to Lovable Cloud, and I'm going to go to users, authentication settings, and then I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to enable this. Now we need to create a new Google Cloud Console project. So I'm going to create a new project here in Google Cloud Console. Let's call this Lovable Music App. Let's go on create. Now this is going to create the new Google Cloud project. This will take a little bit. We will select the project. And this is how simple login with Google is. You go on the menu bar, you go to API and services, and you go to OAuth consent screen. That's very important, because now with the OAuth consent screen, we just go on get started. And now we need to put our app name in here. Let's call this Music Flow, okay? Probably there are a million SaaSes that have that same name, but, we'll do external. We'll go on next. And then I just do hey@despia.com. Let's go on next, finish, continue, create. There you go. That's how simple that is. Now we're going to integrate with login with Google. So now we go to clients here. And now under clients, we're going to create a new client. And this will be web application. And I'm going to call this, no, not that, Music Flow, just like this. And now I'm going to go to authorized redirect URIs. I'll add a URI. And then if we scroll down here in Lovable Cloud, we see callback URL for OAuth. We will copy this. And then we're going to go back and paste this inside of the Google Cloud Console. We're going to create this now. And now this is all set up. So we copy this client ID inside of here, paste this here under the client ID inside of Lovable Cloud. Then we're going to go back here to the client secret, copy that one, put this into Lovable Cloud here under the Google client secret, and then we're going to save this. And now we have login with Google set up. Now we still need to make sure that we prompt it to say, hey, set up login with Google. But now login with Google should work in our live application. So let's test this. Let's try reloading it. I don't think there is an error. Sometimes it just shows an error even though there is none. So let's publish the application and let's see if this actually works. And then we're going to go back into setting up the payments and all that kind of stuff. And we need to explain what this application is about. But let's first see if the login works. So let's try the login with Google here. Because, if the login with Google works, the other one will likely work too. Let's try login with Google. Let's pick a random account here. Let's go on continue. And let's see if this now goes to the gated page. As you can see, we're now on the gated page. And we're inside of our account, and it doesn't look like everything out there vibe coded. It has some unique style to it. And we also have light and dark mode support because we're using this beautiful theme using TweakCN UI. Now I should be able to go inside of here, and I should be able to go to display. Oh, maybe we need to do a couple more settings to make sure that works, but I think it's good for now. We can worry about the UI and the beautiful interfaces later on. So now we need to set up payments so we can monetize this whole thing. So let's tell it, first of all, I want to monetize this with coins. I want to monetize this with coins. This will be an AI text to music, as text to song generator. So I want users to buy packages of songs. Let's start with just a 50 song package for $9. Use Polar or setting that up. Okay, and now I need to give it the information. So inside of Polar, we got this key, we need to keep it, so I don't want to lose it, so let's duplicate the tab. And now we need to go here to products inside of Polar. And now we go on create new product here. And I'm going to call this, what was it, 50 songs, right? Let's see. 50 songs, yeah. Let's go in here and we'll do 50 songs. Okay, pricing one-time purchase, fixed price, and $9. There you go. And now we're going to create the product. This will take a little bit. And now we can go here on the 3 dots and we can copy the product ID. Now I'm going to say my product ID is, there you go. And I probably shouldn't have sent that already because I accidentally clicked on enter. So let's actually stop Lovable because it's still thinking. So I think we're good. Let's go in here. My product ID is perfect. And now we're going to go back to Polar inside of here. And now we're going to have to go to their documentation. So if we go to the documentation here with Polar, we go to the API reference. And then inside of here, we go to checkout. And we go to create checkout session. And we want to copy this page as a reference. So let's say use their checkout API for the purchase. And now I'm going to paste this inside of here, and it doesn't take it. It's too long. User checkout API for the purchase. So instead of copying the page, let's actually just copy the link. Let's hope that works. Fingers crossed. Okay, and then I'm going to say also use their webhooks to grant access for 50 songs/coins. Okay, and now I'm going to add a reference to their webhooks. That's how you verify on the server what's happening. So we go back to docs, and we should be looking for webhooks. They allow us to get signals when Polar was, let's see, where is it? Webhooks when Polar was integrated. Oh, now I asked their AI something. create webhook endpoint. There you go. No, I don't want that. List webhook endpoints. No, this is not helpful. Okay, I thought I had a normal search. Let's see. There you go. I want that. I want the normal one. Set up an endpoint events. This is what we need. We need the webhook events. Okay, let's copy this link here. And let's paste this in here. And then we want probably another page that outlines them a little bit more. Events, handle incoming webhooks. No, it should be probably under events. And then if I go to checkout created, I want to probably look at checkout subscription active. I want to do the subscription active one as a reference because this will fire when there is an active subscription. And I will also want to add a reference when a subscription was revoked. This means the subscription ended after it was canceled and it should be over. We should remove access to the product. Now, we can add this in case we're doing subscriptions, but we're not doing subscriptions, so we also need to look for purchase confirmed. So let's go back into here. It should be payment orders. It should be order paid, right? We also want to add that as a reference. So I'm going to say, since we are currently only doing one-time purchases, I think this one will be the most important, right? But those three up here will be relevant if you're turning this into a subscription, which you will probably likely do. So that's about it. And then, let's send this now to Lovable so it can set that up. Now, because this involves the backend and there's some stuff that we need to make sure that we set up here, this can take a little bit. So I'm going to make a cut and we'll be back when Lovable is done with this. It seems to be done because it now wants the access token. So this is something that we need to get from Polar. So if we go back to Polar here, remember this access token. Let's copy that. And let's paste this one inside of here. Let's go and submit. And now Lovable Cloud can continue with its job. And now it will probably, set this up. It will probably take a couple more minutes. So we'll be back when this is done. So now Lovable just finished everything. And now we need to set up one webhook here. So now we need to copy this address that it gave us for the webhook. And we need to add this under order paid. So we're going to go inside of here, and we're going to go to settings instead of Polar. We go to webhooks, and now we're going to add an endpoint. I'm going to paste the URL. Payload will be raw. And inside of here, I'm going to look for order paid, right? That was it. Now let's copy the scheme for order paid. And I just want to double check this. So let's say just FYI, here is the scheme for order paid that the webhook will send. Okay, always verify the webhook scheme because sometimes it takes outdated information and you want to make sure it's all up to date what you're working with, especially when it's about payments. That's quite important. Let's create this one. And now this webhook was created. There you go. And now we can, we can look into that. We also have a secret here that we should use to verify it. Let's also say I have a Polar secret for the webhook. Please implement that as well. Now, we need to make sure that we give it proper context in how to use the Polar secret. So let's go back to the documentation under webhooks. Now we should be able to find something about, the webhook secrets. Now we have webhook events. It's probably a little bit more up here and it may be actually in the documentation. So let's look for webhook secrets. Let's see if their AI has something helpful for us. Let's do webhook and let's look at webhooks here on there as well. Handle incoming webhooks. That should have something set up here with the secret IP allow list, failure, Polar webhook secret. Okay, we need to integrate with some SDK. So create webhook endpoint, express webhooks. Okay, let's copy this page here because it's related to delivery. Okay. And let's, also add Polar AI's response to this. So let's copy this. And let's also put this in Lovable because we want to make sure that we're using it secure, right? And now, because this is a little bit more of a task where we want some thinking power in Lovable, I'm going to use the chat feature for that to just go back and forth a little bit to double check on that. But now we technically have it implemented. It should work. I don't want it to verify the schema and make sure that we're using the secret, stuff. So it will now probably come up with a plan that we will implement, and then it will ask us for the secret so we can securely set this up for this event on the server. So now, thanks for providing the webhook handler is currently checking for data and metadata user ID, but according to the Polar schema, you provided the raw ID is actually a top-level field in the data object, not inside metadata, is a critical issue that would prevent the webhook from working correctly. And you see, this is why you always add the latest documentation, because it's going to find a lot of stuff that it did incorrectly. So this is quite important. Order ID. We also have external customer ID. So let's say if we go to the documentation, that's why you always got to read the documentation. If we go to documentation and we're going to go to checkout, create checkout session, we will also have the ability to add external customer ID. We have customer ID, but also external customer ID. Now, why is this so important? Where did it go? External customer ID is very important because we can add this to the API, and I want to just add this as a reference because this will allow us to use our ID that's in our database with the Polar system, so we know who paid based on our IDs that we're already using, making it very convenient when we're taking people's money. The external customer ID field in Polar checkout API is important for linking Polar customers to our Supabase users. Yes, that's exactly the problem. And I see many people forget that. And it's quite important because you need to know who paid, right? Okay, so now it seems like this plan is more feasible and it's following those best practices. So we actually know who paid. So I feel confident in implementing this. So let's implement the plan here. And now it will probably ask me for the webhook secret, so it can set that up. Maybe it will skip that. Maybe we need to remind it because we drifted off with the topic a little bit, but we'll see. I'll implement. No, we need the webhook secret. That's very reassuring. Perfect. So let's go back inside of here to the webhook. Let's copy the webhook secret. Let's go to Lovable. And now we're just going to paste this inside of here. Let's submit that. And now it sets that all up. Beautiful. So this should be probably the last step. We're going to try and make some test purchases by doing 4-2-4-2-4-2-4-2-4-2 with the test card. Now this will probably take a little bit to get this done, so I'll make a cut and we'll be back when Lovable is done with everything. There you go. Now it's all successfully set up here. So we're going to publish this and update this. And now we'll take a look at the live side. If the payments work, this should be very simple now. So let's check, Let's open this. And now we will be already logged in. So let's buy 50 coins. Failed to create checkout session. That's not good. So why is this failing? We can go on Inspect Elements and take a look at the Network tab. This will give us some information about what's happening, likely. So failed to create checkout session, or it doesn't actually, it's not that helpful, this API. So the nice thing is, because I stepped into an error, I can now go back into Lovable in the chat mode and said, I just tried to create a checkout session and it failed. Check the server logs and tell me why. And I have an assumption. The external user ID should be the logged in Supabase user ID, because Lovable Cloud is just using Supabase. So it is using Supabase. It's just a different name for the same thing. So in chat mode, it now has the ability to actually look on our backend, see what's happening, tell us what's going on, and it will be able to come up with a plan to troubleshoot that for us. So as you can see, I can see the edge function logs that the Polar is returning invalid token. And the access token provide is expired, revoked, now formatted, or invalid for other reasons. This means the Polar access token secret that's currently configured is no longer valid. Let me check root cause. The Polar is revoked or invalid. Interesting. I think maybe it doesn't have the correct permission because it did work and we pasted the correct one. So let's try this. Let's try updating this token. Let's just, for now, not recommend it. Let's just make this work with all, right? And let's try this again. I think it's maybe because of the permission from the API. No, it still fails. So this is not good. Polar access token. I just added all permissions and it still fails. Let's go in here. Let's see what's going on with Polar. Now we have notifications, subscriptions. No, that is the access token. It's the API key. That's what it is. Copy the access token and move it safely. You won't be able to see it again. So let's make sure we copy this a couple of times. It has all permissions that it could ever imagine. And we copied it, right? So let's double check why this doesn't work. It could be that it's forgetting to add bearer. Or no, you know what the problem is? We need to use sandbox. That is the problem. Let's say we need to use sandbox because this is a test token because I'm making a video. I'm not using real money for this. So the issue is it's trying to use the live API and not the development version API. That is the problem. That is why it doesn't work. The token works on its level, but it's in sandbox, and we're trying to probably run it in the live API. You're absolutely right. We need to use Polar Sandbox API endpoint. I told you. There you go. Not the production API. Now it's going to fix this. It creates the plan to change this. Let's implement the plan. And now this should resolve the issue. We can try making a test purchase, and then we can add all the exciting AI functionalities into our product here. So let's just wait till this finishes. And then I can't wait to have a beautiful AI song generated by this here. And then we'll listen to that together. Let's publish this. And let's update that. And let's publish anyway. We'll look into the security issues later on. Okay, now this will update a little bit. Okay, now it's updated. Let's try reloading the page. And let's see. Now this should take us to a checkout. Let's buy 50 songs. There you go. And now we're on a checkout. So now I can do 4242 42 42 42 42 425 26 424 cardholder name Despia. I'm purchasing as a business. No, then I'm not. Okay. Let's do United States. United States. There you go. Gonna do that. Okay. California, United States. Okay. Now let's pay this. And let's hope that this works. So I just paid. And now it goes to this random page on success, but it shouldn't go to this random page on success. So it works in general. So let's go in here. Let's say when the Polar checkout was successful, it goes to, but it should go to, and now we need to go on publish, and we need to copy our domain here. And we're going to just paste this one inside of here. We don't need to do this into the chat. We can just do the normal mode. But I think we're good for now. Let's just see Now the problem is we paid, but we're not getting the credits. They haven't been added. So we need to debug this. So this is one for chat. Let's say I just upgraded, and bought 50 credits, but I have not been granted access to, not been granted access to 50 credits yet. Okay, let's take a look at that. And then we'll see, and then we'll also see if the new redirect works, right? So now this is always going to be a little bit back and forth. You can't just one-shot those things. It's always a little bit back and forth. You gotta be going back and forth and seeing what's happening. I could see the issue. The Polar webhook is receiving the order paid events, which is good. The payment went through, but all of them are failing with invalid signature format error. This means the webhook signature verification is failing, so the webhook handler is rejecting. Now I understand the problem. The webhook signature verification is failing because the signature format is incorrect. Looking at line 44, the code expects the webhook signature header to be in this format, but Polar might be sending it in a different format. Root cause the Polar webhook edge function is rejecting this. Okay. Why your coins aren't added, disabled signature verification, quick fix, fix better by proper fix. Okay, Polar webhook, true, false. Now we need to go. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this Lovable response, and I'm going to paste this into Polar's AI, and we're going to see what it says about that, right? There you go. So now it's going to look for the signature. I can see your troubleshooting. Polar allows the standard webhook verification. Secrets must be base 64 encoded before signature verification. Let's copy this, and now we're going to have the AI talk to the other AI. So we have super intelligence, and it's going to solve all our problems here. So let's take a look at that. Let's hope it works, actually. Perfect. This is exactly what we need. Look at this. If AI talks to AI, it's all perfect. Chef's kiss. There you go. Okay, now it creates the plan, and we'll be taking a look at the plan and how we're going to implement that. Takes a little bit to come up with a plan. Seems like there's quite a little bit of restructuring. Let's implement the plan here. And now we will just wait till it is done implementing the plan, which I think can take a little bit, so we'll be back when it was done. So now Lovable just finished this, so let's publish this, let's update it, and let's skip the security warning, and then we'll see now if the payments work. So we can get the money, and the user can get their coins, or their songs in this example, for our AI music generator. Let's open this, and now we'll be taking a look at this. Let's buy 50 songs. There you go. And we'll do 4-2, 4-2, 4-2. 2, 6, 4, 2, 4. Okay, there you go. Let's pay for this. And now fingers crossed that this works. Hopefully the redirect is correct. No, not adding the songs. So we're going to say still not adding the songs. Verifying the Polar webhook signature is always a pain in, excuse my language. So I think the better option is just using the API to get the order, and then if it gets the order, it's usually correct. That's another way of, making sure it's a secure connection without having to verify the webhook signature, which is always a pain and never really works first try. But we'll see what Lovable is saying about that and what it suggests us to do. But my personal suggestion, if I would be building this manually, I wouldn't even bother verifying the webhook signature. I would just take the ID, call it from the API, see if it exists. If it exists, that's my way of verifying the webhook signature. Probably shouldn't tell all my cybersecurity backend stuff on a YouTube video, but here I am doing that. There you go. But let's see what Lovable says about that. And it's thinking quite a bit. It's looking at a bunch of files and stuff on the back end. So we'll see. Still thinking. Maybe I need to do a cut. Maybe it's a very thoughtful response, but there you go. Let's see. Oh, I can't scroll up. Thanks for the heads up. I see 2 blockers that explain why credit songs aren't being added yet. Webhook signature is still failing before we reach the credit granting logic. Even if verification passes, we currently return 404 when user coins row doesn't exist. So the first purchase can credit the account. I'll unlock those paths so your new purchase grant credits. So your new purchases grant credits immediately. Goal: ensure purchases immediately grant 50 credits. Songs, okay, this looks good. Timestamp, keep the signed payload format. Let's try this. If this still does not work, we're going to implement a creative solution to this. But let's see. I think this will take a little bit, so I'll make a cut, and we'll be back when it's done. So now Lovable just implemented the changes. It seemed like it has some sandbox bypassing. Maybe there is some special stuff we should consider in sandbox. So let's update that. Let's publish the changes, and let's see if it works now when it comes to purchasing the songs, so we can use them to generate songs in our application. So let's open this. And let's take a look at that. Let's purchase some songs. Okay, we gotta do 4242424242422642. Okay, let's pay, and fingers crossed, at least it redirects now to the correct page. Let's hope that it now actually adds the credits. Ah, damn it. Still does not work, so still does not add the credits. Just remove the webhook signature stuff and call the order API to confirm the order ID exists as a verification, and add the order IDs to the database so hackers can't claim one order multiple times. And now I'm just going to add a reference to their API for getting the order. So if I go here to orders, we have get order, and I can just copy this page and I can reference too much. Okay. And I'm just going to copy the link then, and this will give us this API to get the order. There you go. And I'm just going to send this like this freestyle, because I don't want it to think too much. Sometimes Lovable is thinking your ideas like broken, and it's thinking till they don't work that well. So I'm just going to let it do this, and this should probably then, bring in the results. Now, because we're not in the chat mode, this will take a little bit, so we'll be back when it was implemented. So after lots of thinking, it's now all done. So it modified the database based on our instructions, and it now says plan executed. It removed the webhook signature checks because they're always a pain to work with. It's now verifying the orders via the orders API, completely secure alternative. And then we're adding some tracking here to make sure that people can't claim the same order twice if they're a little bit, tech savvy. So this seems to be fine. This should work in theory. Now, we'll see if it actually works. This development, just because you're using AI doesn't mean you don't have to debug, but it gets simpler because you don't have to write the code yourself, but you gotta still do a little bit of a thinking. So let's reload this page. Let me get rid of the query parameters so we have a fresh start here. Let's buy 50 songs. The loader looks nice. Look at that. It'll take me 20 minutes building this by hand. 4242424242 6 4. Okay, and let's buy that. Let's pay for that. And let's take a look at this. That's exciting. Okay.
still not working.
Why? So while this is not working, how about we already take a look at the documentation for making the Suno API work? Payments is always fun. So inside of here, we have the API for the Suno through Kate IE AI. And essentially, we need to look at generate music here. And we have this endpoint here to generate a song. And essentially, what it allows us to do, we can do a prompt, we can do a style, we can do a title, custom mode. We put the model in there. Now, there are a couple of models, like there's V5 and all that kind of stuff. So we will then be able to, view this page as markdown, such as this here. And then we'll be able to, set this up with this prompt here for AI. And we can just copy this or directly add this markdown link to Lovable to set this up. So it's still thinking, it's still looking at the backend here, still not working. Why? Let's see, it's still thinking. It will take a little bit. I assume that it's probably not getting the correct data, and we probably want to add a little bit more logging on the backend. You're right. To be frustrated, I see exactly why credits still aren't being added. You said that before. Why aren't you fixing it? The webhook is delivering the user ID, deriving the user ID from Polar data user ID first. The Polar's internal user ID, not your app's user ID. The checkout sets your user ID and external ID and metadata user ID. So external underscore customer ID and metadata user underscore ID. The webhook then compares Polar's internal ID to your app's ID, and that's the problem, right? First approach, treat the Polar orders API as the single source of truth for the order ID, for the user ID, specifically order.customer external ID. For order metadata user ID as fallback, where we take the metadata. Stop failing when payload data user underscore ID doesn't match. Use the external underscore user ID from the verified order to credit the correct user. Keep the, there you go, we have the tables. That seems like a good plan, so let's try implementing this plan. So essentially, what it seemed to do, it seemed to compare with the wrong ID, because Polar has their own user ID, but it's not our user ID that we store in our database, it's their user ID. So our user ID in Polar is called external underscore customer ID. So it's a little bit of a misunderstanding happening here between two servers. So we'll see what AI is cooking up here. It's thinking, so it'll take a little bit. And as always, we'll be back after the AI thought. So it just finished the plan, and hopefully it works this time. Let's publish this again. Let's ignore the security errors for now. We'll look into them later. I always say that and then I forget about the security errors. I think it's overdue to have a separate video just about the security errors, but let's double check that here. And now the page is loading, so we'll try this again. So we'll be doing 4.2, 4.2, 4.2, 4.2, 4.2, 2. Sadly that we're not in 24 anymore. Let's pay this, and if this is not going to work, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to scream, ah! Oh! 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 So it does work. It's behind quite a lot, but it does work. Let's try this again. Maybe I misjudged it. 4.2, 4.2, 4.2, 4.2, 4.2, 2.6, 4.2. And let's try paying this. Let's see. Not touching anything. Let's see. Yeah, it does work. Does the job. It works. There you go. Nice. That's great. That's beautiful. This feels good. That's great. I can't believe it. Wow. Okay. So now let's say add AI song generation via KINI AI. I'm going to paste this inside of here with the markdown. And then I'm also going to go to the documentation for music generation callbacks. And now this will give the mechanism to set up the callback URL, right? So I'm going to then also go to view this page as markdown, and I'm going to copy that so we can also set up webhooks, because we're actually also getting webhooks when the music was generated successfully with a callback URL. Here is how to handle the generation callback. Because this generation takes a long time to complete, they're handling it with a callback, such as a payment, because it's asynchronous. Here is how to handle this. Okay. Now I'm going to go to chat mode because I wanted to start thinking about the architecture, thinking about the plan, how to actually make this work. I should also probably want to say, I want to use V5 because I only want the best. And then I also want to quote the part of their documentation that talks about V5. So in this example, it would be parameter details. So let's put this also inside of here. And then we'll just add this after the plan was completed. So it adds this to the existing plan. It's looking at the database now to make sure then how this AI can work with our database. And then it's coming up with a plan now, setting all that up. So we'll see, it does the audio URL, it sets all of that up. That's very nice. Prompt, music, instrumental, custom mode. There you go. We also want to do lyrics, like I want to do custom lyrics. Upload and extend audio. No, we don't want to do that. Add vocals. This endpoint layers AI-generated vocals on top of the existing instrumental, gives a prompt. Oh, that's actually freaking awesome. But boost music style, generate music cover, generate lyrics. We also have this free API. It doesn't cost anything to generate lyrics. So let's view this also, and let's add in here. Let's copy this link here for the generating lyrics. Let's also go in here. Let's say we also have this API to generate lyrics. Okay, I'm going to paste that inside of here. And now when this is done, I'm going to send this one to it. So it adds it to the prompt, to the plan, and it creates a super plan, a master plan, the greatest plan ever. So let's see what Lovable is now thinking about that. I need to examine. So it looks at the documentation. When we are generating music, I want to probably send it this entire prompt here, this entire curl, so it can look into that. Here is the full curl for music generation. I like to give the user lots of settings, plus I want some abstraction. So I want some abstraction. So genres, etc. are from a multi-select, not a text input. Okay, and I'm going to paste this example curl in here. So the more data you give the AI about specific stuff from documentation, so it doesn't have to look it up itself, the better it gets. That's very simple. Now it tries to do a table. Okay, let's send that. I think it's using ChatGPT under the hood now, because tables, that's so ChatGPT 3.3.0. But let's see. perfect. I can see you want a more sophisticated UI with predefined options rather than free text inputs. Yeah, that's what's going to make this product different. People don't want to type in text. They want it to be predefined. They want it to be a great user experience, and they pay for that convenience of having UI abstract some of the work, and it makes it feel like a more thought out and more thoughtful product. So we got generate song, edge functions here is going to look at all the stuff. There you go. It should be using V5. If it doesn't use V5, we can look into that later, but I'm just happy if we get any life into this. So we'll just do one thing at a time. And it's now actually generating the whole UI. So this looks good. You see, like, we got disco, we got K-pop, gospel, spiritual, lo-fi, trap, new age, acapella. Acapella, that's cool. Let's see. Yes, going on for a bit. Let's explore the API while it's keeping callback URL, negative tags, voice gender, style weight, weirdness, contrast, audio weight, custom mode, true. Yeah, then it will show the prompt, style, classical, title, peaceful piano meditation. Very nice. And then I can make a song. And I hope it's going to be a great song. So let's see. This looks cool. And it's still going on. Wow. And it's making it fully accessible. I like that. Look at this color contrast. That's always nice for lots of people who need that. So Lovable thinks about that. I like that. Let's implement the plan now, because this involves lots of changes. It will take a little bit. So I'll be back when it's done. So now Lovable wants our API key. So let's set that out. Now we got to go to KIE. We're going to generate a new API key. I'm going to call this Lovable Cloud because that's what we're using. Let's generate this now. And now we can copy the API key. And we go to Lovable and securely put this inside of here. And let's submit. So now it keeps, setting up the whole thing. This will take, again, a couple of minutes. So we'll be back when it is done. So it now finished it. So let's take a look at this. Let's publish it. And I can't wait to test this out. I can't wait to see what kind of music it's generating. So let's wait till this is updated and let's try it out. So now, as you can see, the app loads and I can do a lyrics generator. So let's do a song about Lovable AI, the vibe coding tool that allows everyone to build apps. Let's generate the lyrics. Failed to generate lyrics. That's reassuring. Let's inspect that. Okay, it's fine. Have it fail. See, it failed. Invalid response from KIEAI. And then song generator, custom mode. Let's do simple mode. Let's do cool song about Lovable AI. Let's generate for 1 coin. And let's hope this fails too. Ah, no way. This worked. My song's and it's pending. So this seemed to go through. And we got deducted 1 coin. So the lyrics generator doesn't work. So let's go to the chat and let's say, lyrics generator does not work. I just did the call. Like, Lovable is so cool. It's like the developer you always wanted but never had. You can just tell it, hey, can you check on the backend what's going on? It just does it for you. Amazing. I just did the call. Can you check on the backend why it failed? Okay, let's send that to Lovable. Let's take a look at that. Now the song is still generating. Now we can actually go to KIEAI and we can go to logs and we should see the song generating here under Suno. And you can see this one is actually running. So it does work. That's good. So it's still running. So it actually works. It actually sent the song. Lyrics, a little bit questionable. The error task ID from KAE response, success, the KAE returns task ID, but the code is looking for task ID snake case. You see, it's always dumb stuff. Problem 2, function, lyrics not found in task ID issue, callback successfully receives the lyrics data from, but it can't find the lyrics record in the database. So it's some stupid issues. Let's implement the fix. And then we'll have it generate the lyrics as well in our application. And eventually we're going to have the lyrics generation directly in the custom mode because we need to make it a better user experience. It's probably still right now a horrendous user experience, but I think, we'll get there. We'll make it perfect. But like this looks really nice. Like I can just buy more coins and it now goes here to the checkout, lets me buy more coins. Let's reload because I think we're on the old version. Yeah, and I have my songs, I have my lyrics. I will be able to store my lyrics in here if I like them. Like, this is amazing. This was all made with AI. This is incredible. Like, I'm out of a job now. This is wild. Like, the only thing I can do is make videos about this to not fall behind. Look at that. Like, this is, wow. Like, this would have taken me, like, I used to do, like, videos how to build those kinds of stuff manually, how to make your AI SaaS, how to make this kind of SaaS. And, like, building this, what we're doing here, like, in an hour, was like usually a 25-hour course, 30-hour course, right? And people had to go through the course. They had to do it all manually. It took them weeks and months to rebuild what was happening in the 30-hour course. And it took me like 4 days to make such a course nonstop, like from the whole day being in the studio, in the office, recording everything. We just built this in 1 hour. Like, this is incredible. Like, everybody who's still against AI, I don't know what's wrong with them. Like, it's clearly here to stay. And it's incredible that you can build this kind of stuff. You see it was successful. So let's see if it was successful in our app. It's still pending. I hope that the webhook didn't fail. It's still pending. So let's see. Maybe there is a webhook issue because the song was successful. No, actually, that's Sora. No, not the song. Oh my God. But the song also was successful. So, let's see. Let's reload. Let's see if it updated. It's still not updating. Okay, this is fine. So let's see if this lyric generation fixed it. But let's also say I just saw on KIE AI that the song was successful, but I do not see it in my app. Please check the webhook logs, okay? That's not how you write successful. There you go. Let's send this to the chat. While this is doing it, I'm going to update this so we have the updated lyric generation all set up. But let's see, I'll check the key. I think it's called key, KIE, key. I found the issue in the webhook shows that the key AI successfully sent the callback with 2 songs, a digital heartbeat with 2 variations, but there's an error. No task ID and callback payload. I can see that key AI sends task underscore ID. So no way. It's like doing camel case instead of, oh my God. It's a syntax error. It does work. It's a syntax error, as always, with AI. It's not the smartest necessarily, but that's why we still have human intervention. Let's see. Cool song. Generate lyrics. Lyrics generation started. So now we should have this be in our lyrics. And let's see if this ever finishes. It shouldn't take too long to generate such lyrics. And the lyrics are generated. Look at this. It's complete. I can copy them. I can use them in a song. And does the choir? Neon lights, neons. Okay. Neon skies dance out till the morning rise. Oh my God, that's that's bad song skills, but okay. City lights, they flicker bright. Neon whispers cut the night. A heartbeat racing wild and loose, chasing shadows, no excuse. I hear the hum, it calls my name. This electric laughs, a burning flame. And the choir, neon lights, neon skies, stands until the morning rise. Neon dreams never die. We're alive, alive. Oh my God. It's not the best at coming up with songs, apparently, but I'm optimistic that generating the songs will be quite delightful. So let's take a look at this. So this is now going to update everything, and we'll take a look at that. Okay, let's reload the application here. Going to spend another credit here. So let's Midnight Mirage. This sounds so AI generated. Like, who's saying Mirage? But okay, let's see. A song about Lovable, the vibe coding tool in 80s disco pop. Okay, let's generate the lyrics. So we get some lyrics for that. Okay, lyric generation started in our application. That's free because it's free for us. If you look at my lyrics, you see this one is still pending. Now it's successful. So code me alive. Okay, that sounds good. Let's use this in a song. So now this was added to our song generator here. Now the song title, let's call this Lovable. Lovable. The genres, we're going to do disco. We're going to do, let's see, chill out, cinematic, no, new age, no, minimal, let's see. Oh, did add quite a lot of them. Let's do dance, party, uplifting, that's good. I think that's good. Instrumental, no vocals, no. And we have even advanced settings. So style, you can like avoid tags like loud, like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like simple, complex, you can avoid that. Let's generate one song for 1 coin. And now the song started generating. So if you go to my songs, you see now the Lovable song is generating. I still want to, while this is generating, I still want to look into and listen into the one that it just generated. So I gotta do this. Let's play the result here from the one that we just generated. I'm not made of wires, but I feel alive. My circuits hum like a buzzing hive. And it actually generated 2. Very nice. Look at that. So let's see if this text ready. I don't know what that means, text ready. I think it's hex ready. Maybe it's confusing it to be the lyrics, but all because it generates lyrics for the songs if you're in the non-custom mode. Gotcha. Okay, let's double check here on KIE or Key AI. And now it's still running. There you go. So this will take a little bit. And when the song is generated, we'll listen to it. We'll check it out. So now the song is done. So let's take a look at that. It did generate this random thumbnail that, I don't know, interesting, but let's listen to it. Okay, too long of an intro. That's cool. Look at that. Let's go to the next one. Fire, cold me alive. Oh, cold me tonight. Flash those keys under the strobe light. Cold me alive. Yeah. There you go. So this is how you make an AI music generator and how you monetize that and have users purchase credits. and how you make money from that idea, and then how they can use the credits. You can also turn it into subscription SaaS. There you go. That's how simple that is in almost an hour, a little bit more than an hour with AI. If this doesn't make you think about what AI really holds for the future, something's wrong with you. It's taken all our jobs. The question is if you're jumping on it and using AI to work faster, or if you're still trying to fight against it. If you're still trying to fight against it, it will win. But go to the side of AI and fight with it against all the other people who want to fight against it. There you go. Thank you for watching. Take care.